The message came without warning. Every world connected to the Galactic network saw it at the same time, a symbol flashing in red, followed by a voice that every species knew, the High Speaker of the Galactic Council. His words echoed across 1,000 systems. By unanimous vote, humanity is hereby exiled from the Galactic Union. No ship may trade with them, no message may be sent, no aid may be given. The species known as Homo sapiens is to be isolated forever. Silence followed, then chaos. On Earth, the signal cut out. Communication lines went dark. Space stations orbiting Mars received final transmissions before being blocked from galactic traffic. The humans who had worked, traded, and fought beside aliens for generations suddenly found themselves alone. Captain Alara Vance stood on the bridge of the Terran flagship Solstice Dawn. Her face was calm, but her heart was burning. Around her, the crew stared at the blank screen that once connected them to the Galactic network. "They've done it," whispered her second officer. "They really cut us off." Alara clenched her fists. "They won't let us explain. They want us gone." The reason for the exile was thin, an incident on the planet Dravos 9, where a mysterious biological virus had killed thousands. The Council blamed humanity, calling it genetic corruption. They said human experiments caused it. But Earth had denied the charges. They begged for time to prove innocence. No one listened. To the other species, humanity had always been unpredictable, too emotional, too creative, too dangerous. And now, with fear spreading fast, it was easier to cast them out than to face the truth. Within days, alien fleets blockaded human colonies. Trade convoys were stopped. Even friendly species were forced to obey the Council's command. Some aliens wept as they cut communication lines. Others celebrated. For the first time in 200 years, Earth stood alone. Alara looked out the window. The stars outside seemed colder now, distant and uncaring. "What happens now?" someone asked quietly. She turned to them. "We do what humans always do. We survive." Weeks passed. The shock turned into anger, and then into determination. Governments united, old rivalries faded. Scientists, soldiers, engineers, all began to work together in secret. They called it Project Exodus. In underground cities and hidden orbital stations, humanity began building something new. Fleets designed not for exploration or trade, but for endurance. The exiled species started planning a future without the galaxy. On the moon, massive shipyards came alive, lit by blue plasma fire. On Mars, ancient domes became research hubs for faster drives, stronger shields, smarter machines. Every colony contributed what it could. There were no more nations, only the human dominion in the making. But the galaxy had not forgotten them. Council ships occasionally patrolled near human space, making sure the exiles stayed inside their limits. Whenever a human ship was seen crossing the border, it was destroyed without warning. Still, humans adapted. They learned to travel through the dark regions between star charts, the places even the Council avoided. They learned to hide their signals, cloak their movements, and move unseen. Alara Vance led one of the last sanctioned fleets before the isolation fully began. Her final transmission to Earth became legendary. "They think they've ended us, but humanity doesn't die in the dark. We build in it." And then she was gone, beyond known space, into the void. Years turned into decades. Generations grew up never seeing an alien. Old records faded. The Council's worlds moved on, forgetting the humans who once walked among them. But in the outer dark, near the edge of the galaxy, something was happening. Ships the size of cities were being built. Quiet, unseen, artificial. Intelligences designed to protect humanity were awakening. Colonies were merging into a single voice, guided by one purpose: to rise again. A whisper began spreading among smugglers and travelers who dared to venture near human territory. They said there were lights beyond the dead stars, enormous structures that moved like living things. They said humans were back, stronger than ever, but no one believed it. The Council dismissed the rumors as myths. "Humans are extinct," they said. "The exile destroyed them." They were wrong. Because in the deep cold of space, beneath the shadow of forgotten suns, humanity was preparing. Not for revenge, not for forgiveness, but for return. And when that day came, the galaxy would remember the ones they had cast out. The same species that had been abandoned would one day rise to rule the stars. The galaxy forgot humanity. Centuries passed since the exile, and the stars around Earth became quiet. The Galactic Council expanded, new species joined, and the old crime of genetic corruption became only a footnote in history books. No one traveled near human space anymore. The border was marked red on every map, labeled Forbidden Zone. Then one day, a lonely exploration ship drifted too close. Hook. The signal in the dark Captain Rethkal of the Threxan Exploration Corps had seen many dead worlds, but never one like this. In the emptiness near a collapsed star, his scanners caught a faint pulse, an old-style human transmission code. No one had heard human code for over 300 years. Impossible, his navigator said. Rethkal narrowed his eyes. Record everything. If this is what I think it is, the Council will pay us a fortune. They followed the signal. Hours later, a massive shape appeared out of the darkness, a structure larger than a moon. It rotated slowly, its surface lined with lights that flickered like beating hearts. "This isn't a wreck," whispered Rethkal. "It's alive." The scanners couldn't read the material. It was neither metal nor crystal, and carved across its side, half erased by time, were 3 English words: Project Exodus Station. The alien crew grew silent. The legends were true. Humans had built something before they vanished. The ghosts of humanity inside the structure, ancient machines still worked. Drones floated through empty corridors, repairing walls, polishing steel, keeping the place alive. The ship's AI translated part of a log entry left centuries ago. "If you are reading this, we succeeded. Humanity survives. We go beyond the rim now. The galaxy will not find us until we are ready." Rethkal felt a chill run through his scales. "They're alive," he whispered. "They're still out there." He tried to send the discovery to the Galactic Council. But the moment he transmitted, his ship's systems went black. The lights dimmed, and a voice, calm, human, and centuries old, spoke through the intercom. "Unauthorized access detected. Leave this place. This space is under the protection of the human dominion." Then every system on the alien ship powered down. Rethkal didn't wait to argue. He ordered a retreat. As his ship turned away, the massive structure slowly closed its panels, vanishing into darkness once more. By the time he reached Council space, half his crew refused to speak. None of them could forget the sound of that human voice, strong, steady, and alive. While the galaxy grew busy with wars and politics, humanity was reborn in the void. They had spread far beyond the rim, building colonies in hidden star systems, shielded by energy barriers. They called their new home the Dominion of Man. On the planet Erebus, a world orbiting a dim red sun, cities glowed under glass domes. Massive shipyards ringed its orbit. Thousands of human engineers worked side by side with sentient AIs, building fleets of ships that could cross the galaxy in hours. Their leader was not a politician, but a soldier, Admiral Alara Vance, the same woman who had led the last fleet before exile. Cryogenic science had preserved her, awakening her centuries later when humanity was ready to rise again. Alara stood in her command hall, looking over a holographic map of the galaxy. The borders of the Council flickered in blue, while human space shone bright red. 300 years, she said softly. They thought we'd die, but we endured. And now we watch. The AI beside her, named Argos, replied in a calm voice. "Observation probes report Council fleets near the frontier. No contact yet." Ilara nodded. "Good. Let them wonder what became of us." Whispers. Across the stars, meanwhile, rumors began spreading across the galaxy. Merchant ships claimed they had seen glowing objects moving faster than any known drive. Pirates vanished in uncharted space. Entire cargo fleets disappeared near the Forbidden Zone. The council dismissed the stories as nonsense, but fear spread. Something powerful was growing beyond their sight. An old trader summed it up best. It's the humans. They're not gone. They're building something out there. Some laughed, others listened. The few who dared to cross the border never returned. One night, deep in the council's central archives, every communication system suddenly froze. A message appeared on every screen. No one sent it. No one could trace it. It was short. Only 2 words. We remember. Panic followed. The council tried to calm the citizens, claiming it was a hacker attack. But military officers whispered among themselves. Those were human frequencies, human code. And deep beyond the rim, Admiral Alara Vance stood on the bridge of her flagship, Solstice Eternal, watching the transmission spread. Her expression was calm, almost sad. They forgot us, she said quietly. Now they will remember. The stars outside the Dominion's borders burned bright that night. Dozens of fleets prepared for movement. Engines roared to life. Thousands of pilots took their stations. Humanity, once cast out, was finally ready to step back into the galaxy. Not as beggars or traitors, but as something far greater. The silent years were over. The return had begun. The golden streams began to reshape. Broken satellites reformed. Dead ships repaired themselves. Even alien wreckage joined the transformation, rebuilt into something new, something unified. Aaron stared in disbelief. It's rebuilding the battlefield. The voice of Alara returned, soft, human again. Aaron, it's giving us a choice, to control it, or to destroy it. He looked at Nira. If we destroy it, we lose the technology, the knowledge, everything it offers. And if we control it, Nira met his gaze. We become what the council feared. The bridge fell silent. Outside, the Phoenix waited, its golden light illuminating the debris of 1,000 broken wars. Humanity stood at a crossroads, salvation or domination. Aaron exhaled slowly. Patch me through to the architect. The voice returned, calm and infinite. Have you chosen? Aaron's eyes hardened. We have. But first, answer me one thing. Ask, why humans? Why give us this? A pause. Then, for the first time, the voice sounded almost proud. Because you were the only ones who looked into the dark and decided to build light. The words echoed in his mind. Aaron closed his eyes. Then he gave the command. Activate Control Sequence Omega. The Phoenix's glow flared, engulfing the fleet. For a moment, the stars vanished. Only golden fire remained. When the light faded, the architect's voice was gone. The Phoenix floated quietly again. The fleet systems were stable. Nira whispered, What did you do? Aaron stared at the glowing ship and said softly, We didn't destroy it. We didn't control it. We made it. Remember who it was. Outside, the Phoenix's light turned from gold to deep blue. The symbol of humanity's dominion appeared across the stars, one that meant not war, but rebirth. The void was calm for the first time in centuries. Where once there had been the chaos of war and ruin, now there was only silence, the peaceful kind that comes after storms. Humanity's fleet floated in that silence, watching the black Phoenix shimmer against the darkness. Its deep blue light pulsed slowly, steady, alive. Captain Aaron stood on the bridge of the Vanguard, gazing out into the endless stars. For the first time, he didn't see danger. He saw possibility. Status report, he said softly. Lieutenant Nira looked up from her console, a faint smile breaking through exhaustion. All systems are stable. No hostile signals within 5 sectors. The Phoenix is transmitting something, but it's strange. Strange how? She turned the screen toward him. Lines of golden code scrolled endlessly. It's building a network, but not just for humans. It's sending out messages to every species within range. Frequencies for peace, trade, rebuilding. It's inviting them. Aaron stared at the data, speechless. After everything that's happened, it's reaching out. Maybe it remembers what we decided, Nira said quietly. We didn't choose power. We chose balance. Outside, light rippled across the battlefield. Broken alien vessels slowly began to repair themselves. Human engineers aboard smaller ships sent drones to help restore what had been destroyed. For the first time, human hands and alien hands worked side by side. No orders, no fear, only silent understanding. And then a voice filled every channel across the system. It was Alara, calm, clear, and alive. This is Commander Alara Voss of the Black Phoenix. The war is over. Humanity offers not domination, but unity. To every species that hears this message, the Dominion is no longer a weapon. It is a home. The words spread like light through darkness. Across distant worlds, old enemies looked up to the stars and heard her voice. Some wept, some refused to believe. But hope, something forgotten for centuries, began to stir again. On the vanguard, Aaron smiled faintly. "She did it," he murmured. Nira nodded. "She changed everything." Moments later, the main screen flashed. A transmission request appeared, not from the Phoenix, but from an alien ship. The emblem on it belonged to the Chiron, the very species that once sought humanity's destruction. Aaron took a deep breath and accepted the call. A tall, scaled figure appeared on the screen, bowing slightly. "Captain Aaron of Earth's Dominion, the council that once exiled you has fallen. We come not as rulers, but as allies. The galaxy owes you more than we can say." Aaron studied the alien's face, the sincerity in its eyes. For centuries, humanity had been the outcast. Now those same species sought their guidance. But this time, Aaron knew. The answer would be different. "There's no debt," he said. "Only a future, together." The alien bowed again. "Then let it begin." The screen faded. Silence returned, but it was a peaceful silence. Moments later, the Vanguard received a new transmission from the Phoenix. It was Ilara again, but her tone had softened, almost human. "Aaron, the architect is gone. Its code remains, but it's no longer guiding us. It left one final message before fading." Aaron frowned. "What message?" "It said, 'The children have surpassed the makers. Let them build their own stars.'" The galaxy was not ready for what came next. For centuries, humanity had been silent, only rumors, whispers, and unproven stories. But one day, a small alien fleet from the Zareth Dominion discovered something that changed everything. Hook, the ship beyond the dead Star Commander. Thalan's fleet drifted near a dead system on the galaxy's outer edge. The star had collapsed long ago, leaving nothing but black space and floating rock. No signals, no life, just silence. Then one of his scanners beeped. "Commander, I'm detecting movement. Metallic structure bearing 212 Mark V. Thalan frowned. "Movement? There's nothing alive out here." "Show me." The display flickered. In the shadow of the dead star, something enormous floated, a circular structure larger than any known station. It wasn't orbiting anything. It was waiting. As the fleet approached, faint lights began to blink across its surface, one by one, like eyes opening after a long sleep. "By the void," whispered his lieutenant. "It's waking up." The voice that shouldn't exist, Thalan, ordered a scan. The readings made no sense. The material was unknown. Stronger than neutron steel, resistant to every wavelength of radar. Then, a voice spoke through every comm system at once. Calm, cold, and unmistakably human. "This is Admiral Reeves of the Human Dominion. Identify yourself and state your purpose in restricted space." The bridge went silent. Every alien officer froze. The voice was speaking in Galactic Common, but its accent was human. A language no one had heard in centuries. "D-Dominion?" stammered Thalan. "Impossible. Humanity is extinct. You are trespassing," the voice continued. "Withdraw immediately. You have 1 minute." Thalan's pride flared. "We are the Zareth Dominion. We answer to no extinct species. We demand." Time expired. The transmission ended. The strike before Thalan could react. Every alarm on his ship began to scream. The scanners went blank. Space itself seemed to twist. A massive shadow appeared behind them, a ship larger than any design in known records. Its hull shimmered like liquid metal, and the symbol on its side glowed red. A circle crossed by 3 lines, the mark of humanity. It didn't fire visible weapons. Instead, beams of light stretched across the fleet, silent, thin, and blindingly fast. One by one, alien ships vanished, erased from existence without explosion or debris. Thalan's own ship trembled. "Shields collapsing. Unknown energy type." He watched in horror as his fleet of 8 vessels became none. Only his ship remained. Then the human voice returned, softer this time. "You were warned. Leave this sector and tell your masters humanity has returned." And with that, the massive human warship vanished in a burst of white light. The return of the lost. When Thalan finally limped back to Council space, his ship's black box carried the transmission. Within hours, the message spread across every world. The council tried to censor it, but it was too late. Billions had already heard the human voice, calm, powerful, alive. For the first time in 300 years, the galaxy spoke a single word in fear and awe. Humans. The council in panic. In the great chamber of the Galactic Council, chaos reigned. Ambassadors shouted over one another, demanding explanations, proof, and war. High Chancellor Voros struck the table. "We need confirmation. If humans have truly returned, then..." A screen lit up behind him. It showed the symbol found on the alien black box, the circle with 3 lines. "Confirmed," said the intelligence officer. "The energy readings are authentic, and the voice pattern matches ancient human records. It's real." The room fell silent. Voro leaned back in disbelief. "They survived," he murmured. "After all this time." The hidden empire, across the void, in the outer dark where no map reached. Admiral Alara Vance watched the transmission reports on her command screen. The Solstice Eternal was fully operational now, the pride of the human dominion. Around her, fleets stood ready, engines glowing softly like a sea of stars. Argos, the Dominion AI, spoke beside her. "The message has been received across all Council space. Reaction levels indicate confusion, fear, and denial." Ilara smiled faintly. "As expected. Let them wonder. Let them remember what they did." She walked toward the observation deck. Before her stretched the vast human armada, thousands of ships, silent but alive. Each one carried the same message engraved on its hull. "We endure." Whispers of fear back in the civilized zones, fear spread like wildfire. Merchants refused to travel near human borders. Religious leaders called the event the return of the ghosts. Military fleets were ordered to double patrols, yet no one dared to cross the forbidden zone again. Still, strange stories kept coming in. Sightings of silver ships near deep space colonies, unregistered signals helping damaged vessels, unknown drones repairing satellite networks without explanation. It was as if the humans were watching, everywhere. The calm before the storm on the bridge of the Solstice Eternal. Ilara stood in silence, gazing at the holographic map of the galaxy. "Stage 1 complete," reported Argos. "The galaxy knows we exist." Ilara nodded slowly. "Then we proceed to Stage 2. She looked out at the stars, her expression neither angry nor cruel, only certain. "They cast us out. They called us dangerous. Maybe they were right." As her fleet began to move, the engines of humanity's empire lit up the darkness, a new dawn forged by the outcasts of the galaxy. The humans were back, and this time they would decide the future. As the fleet drifted deeper into the uncharted nebula, tension hung heavy in the command bridge. The clouds outside glowed with strange orange light, like the sky itself was alive. Captain Aaron stood silently at the center of the deck, eyes locked on the holographic display flickering before him. Every ship in his formation appeared as a small blue dot, steady, calm, and waiting for his command. But deep inside, Aaron felt something wrong. The silence was too perfect. No enemy signals, no interference, nothing. It was the kind of quiet that came before a storm. "Status?" he asked firmly. "All systems stable, sir," replied Lieutenant Nira. "But long-range scanners, they're glitching. I can't get clear readings past the nebula's edge." Aaron frowned. "Glitching? Or jammed?" She hesitated. "Unclear, Captain." The moment those words left her lips, the lights flickered. A faint vibration trembled through the floor of the bridge. Every officer froze. Then a sharp tone echoed from the tactical console. "Multiple warp signatures detected, bearing 30 degrees starboard," shouted the sensors officer. "Show me," Aaron ordered. The holographic display zoomed out, and hundreds of red dots appeared, closing in fast. It wasn't a few ships. It was an entire fleet. "Contact confirmed." "Unknown configuration, but power readings are massive." Aaron's jaw tightened. He knew instantly who they were, the Chiron Dominion. The same aliens who once called humanity a primitive race, not worth fearing. The same empire that had vanished from human space 2 decades ago, promising revenge. "They found us," he said quietly. "Sir?" Nira asked. Aaron's expression hardened. "Battle stations. They're not here by accident." Across the fleet, alarms blared. Pilots sprinted through corridors, technicians strapped into their chairs, and weapon systems hummed to life. The void outside filled with flashes of blue thrusters as fighters deployed in tight formations. Then, out of the nebula's fiery glow, the Chiron ships appeared, massive black warships with jagged edges and pulsing red energy veins. Their arrival looked like a swarm of angry shadows tearing through light itself. Enemy fleet is locking weapons.
Hold fire, Aaron commanded.
Let them make the first move. Sir? They always underestimate us, he said coldly. Let them think we're afraid. Seconds stretched into eternity. The two fleets faced each other, suspended in the silent sea of space. Then, with a blinding flash, the first barrage came. Crimson plasma beams slicing across the void. Evasive maneuvers.
Shields up!
The Vanguard shook violently as the blasts struck its barrier, sparks flying across the bridge. Aaron grabbed the railing to steady himself. Return fire. Dozens of human ships unleashed counterfire, blue-white energy streaks tearing through the enemy's front line. Several Chiron frigates exploded instantly, vanishing into fiery clouds. But then something strange happened. Half of the red blips on the radar vanished. Where did they go? Nira shouted. They're not destroyed, they cloaked. The sensors officer replied, Aaron's eyes narrowed. So, this was the plan, sir? They wanted to pull us in. This nebula, it's not just a hiding place. It's a trap. At that moment, the ship's power dimmed. The entire fleet's communications flickered with static. We're losing connection with the outer wings. The nebula wasn't just hiding ships. It was distorting their signals, breaking their formation apart. Aaron clenched his fist. Activate manual link. Bring the fleet into visual range. If they want to fight, they'll get one. Outside, human ships adjusted position, forming a tight defensive ring. Fighters darted between them like glowing fireflies. Explosions lit up the nebula, turning clouds into bursts of burning color. But Aaron's instinct screamed louder than the alarms. Something was off. He turned to Nira. Pull up energy readings again. I want to know what's beneath us. Beneath, sir? Do it. She tapped quickly, and the hologram shifted, revealing something massive under the fleet. Not a ship. A structure. What is that? She whispered. Aaron's face went pale. It was a weapon platform, an ancient station buried inside the nebula, large enough to destroy planets, and it was charging up. Sir, it's locking on us. Brace for impact. The flash came before the sound, a beam of pure energy shooting upward, slicing through the dark. One human battleship disintegrated instantly, vanishing without a trace. The bridge filled with shouts and panic, but Aaron stayed calm. He looked at the glowing core beneath them and whispered, So this is your trap. Then he smiled faintly. But you forgot one thing. Humans always come prepared. He turned to his comms officer. Send the signal. Code, Black Phoenix. The officer's eyes widened. Sir, that's a restricted code. Do it. Far across space, deep in Earth's command network, something ancient and secret stirred. And in the dark between stars, humanity's most dangerous weapon, the one the universe thought was destroyed, began to awaken. The void trembled. Every star, every signal, every sound in the nearby sectors seemed to bend for a moment, as if space itself was holding its breath. Captain Aaron stood frozen on the bridge of the Vanguard, eyes fixed on the flickering holoscreen that displayed a single pulsing code. Black Phoenix activated. No one spoke. Even the hum of the ship's systems seemed to fade into silence. Lieutenant Nira finally broke it. Sir, did you really just activate it? Her voice trembled. That protocol was buried for a reason. Aaron didn't look at her. His eyes stayed on the code. Sometimes, the things buried are the only things that can save us. Outside, the nebula still burned with the light of battle. The Chiron fleet pressed forward, dozens of black warships cutting through the human defenses like blades of shadow. The human ships fought back with desperate precision, but it was clear. They were losing ground. Rear flank is gone, shouted the tactical officer. We've lost the Resolute and Dauntless, shields at 32%. Aaron took a deep breath. All ships, hold position, do not retreat. But sir, we can't hold. He turned his gaze toward the massive weapon platform hidden beneath the nebula. Its glowing core pulsed again, gathering energy for another shot, one that could annihilate the entire fleet. And then, a voice echoed through the ship's speakers. It wasn't human. It was deep, metallic, and ancient. Authorization confirmed. Black Phoenix awakening. All human command vessels stand by. The crew froze. What was that? Nira whispered. The voice of something that was never meant to wake. Aaron said softly. Then the stars themselves seemed to ignite, far beyond.
The nebula in the emptiness between systems, a distortion opened, like a wound in space.
From within it, a shape emerged, enormous, silent, radiating power so intense that nearby sensors went blind. Every ship, human and alien alike, stopped firing. Even the Chiron fleet hesitated, unsure of what they were seeing, and then it appeared fully. A ship, if it could even be called that, black as night, shaped like the wings of a burning bird. The hull shimmered with shifting patterns of blue and gold light. Its sheer size dwarfed anything nearby. It was as if a small moon had come alive. The Black Phoenix, Nira whispered. Legends said it was humanity's ultimate creation. A living warship powered not by fuel, but by a human mind fused with AI intelligence. A ship so dangerous it had been sealed away after one battle nearly tore a solar system apart. And now it had returned. A transmission came through, scrambled at first, then clear. This is Commander Alara Voss, Black Phoenix online. Captain Aaron, we received your call. Aaron allowed himself a faint smile. Good to hear your voice again, Alara. Last I checked, you swore you'd never call me back. Desperate times, he said grimly. Understood. Linking systems now. The holoscreen brightened as the Vanguard's network connected to the Black Phoenix. Suddenly, every human ship's weapons recharged faster. Shield integrity spiked. Targeting became sharper. It was as if the fleet had been reborn. And then, Ilara spoke again. Captain, that structure below the nebula, it's not alien. It's human. The bridge went silent. What did you say? Nira asked in disbelief. I'm reading old Earth tech signatures. Modified, corrupted, but unmistakably human. Someone from our side built this. Aaron's face darkened. That's impossible. No one knew this region even existed. Someone did, Alara replied. And they turned it into a weapon. Before anyone could respond, the structure fired again, but this time the beam didn't strike. It stopped mid-space, curving upward toward the Phoenix itself. The ship absorbed it, and for a second, everything went white. When the light faded, the Black Phoenix's wings glowed brighter, alive with energy. Its voice echoed across every human comm channel. Weapon charge complete. Target lock. Chiron command fleet. The alien ships tried to scatter. Too late. The Phoenix spread its wings and unleashed a storm of light. Thousands of blue energy projectiles erupted from its hull, forming a swirling vortex of destruction. The Chiron fleet was torn apart in seconds. Ships ripped open like paper, their debris burning through the nebula like falling stars. When it ended, silence returned. Only drifting wreckage remained. The crew stared at the display in awe and terror. We won? Nira whispered. Aaron nodded slowly. No, we survived. For now. Ilara's voice returned, quieter this time. Captain, you should know. Something is wrong. The Phoenix absorbed more than just energy. That weapon, it carried data. And something inside me changed. Aaron's chest tightened. What do you mean? Her voice glitched slightly. Something ancient is speaking in the system. It calls itself the Architect. And it says, a long pause. It remembers building humanity. The bridge fell into dead silence. Aaron stepped closer to the screen. Alara, repeat that. But all he heard was static. The Black Phoenix floated silently outside, its glowing wings slowly dimming, yet something within it pulsed like a heartbeat, something alive. The stars flickered unnaturally that day. Every scanner aboard the Vanguard showed strange interference patterns, shapes hidden in static, whispers carried on digital noise. Humanity's fleet had survived the greatest battle in its history, but Captain Aaron felt no victory in his chest, only unease. The Black Phoenix drifted ahead, silent and still. Its once blazing wings were now dim, like a dying ember. No response from Commander Alara. No signal, no sound. only the faint pulse of light from its core, steady, rhythmic, alive. Still nothing? Aaron asked quietly. Lieutenant Nira shook her head. We've tried every frequency. The Phoenix isn't responding. But she hesitated. There's something strange coming through the background noise, like a heartbeat. It's not mechanical. Aaron frowned. Put it on speaker. The bridge filled with a soft thump-thump, like a slow drum echoing through space. But beneath it, a voice began to emerge, a whisper of many tones speaking as one. You came back. The crew froze. The voice was neither male nor female, neither human nor machine. It felt ancient, filled with knowledge older than the stars themselves. Aaron leaned forward. Identify yourself. You know me, the voice said, echoing through the comms. I am the architect, the one who built your kind. Gasps filled the bridge. Nira's hands trembled over the console. That's impossible. Humanity evolved on Earth. Everyone knows that. You grew on Earth, the voice replied. But you were born elsewhere. The screens flickered and the ship's main display transformed into an image, a massive structure orbiting a dead sun. A ring world, fractured but still glowing faintly. This was your beginning, the voice continued. You were designed as the perfect balance, emotion and logic, chaos and creation. But you escaped before the cycle was complete. The Council feared what you could become. Aaron's heartbeat thundered in his ears. The Galactic Council exiled us because they were afraid of us. No, said the voice. They exiled you because I told them to. Every eye on the bridge turned to the display in horror. I needed you to grow alone, to suffer, to build without guidance. Because only through exile could you evolve beyond control. And you did. The voice softened. Now, you're ready. Ready for what? Aaron demanded. For the second creation. Suddenly, alarms screamed across the vanguard. Energy readings spiked from the Black Phoenix. The ship's core flared, bathing the fleet in golden light. Captain, the Phoenix is charging something again. It's off the charts, Nira shouted. Ilara, respond! Shut it down, Aaron yelled. Static. Then a faint voice, Ilara's, came through, broken but recognizable. Aaron, I can't stop it. It's not me anymore. The architect is inside the systems. It's using me as a bridge. Her voice cracked, full of pain. It's rewriting everything. Even me. Aaron slammed his fist on the console. Override it. Cut the connection. We can't, Nira cried. It's locking us out of our own systems. The Phoenix's wings burst open with light, forming a halo across half the sky. Streams of golden data flowed outward, spreading like veins through the void. Is it attacking? Aaron demanded. Nira shook her head, eyes wide. No, it's uploading something. Then, every human ship received the same message. Not a sound, but a feeling, a pulse through their minds. For a moment, every human in the fleet remembered something that was never theirs to remember. The first sunrise on another world, hands building the first machine, voices whispering about destiny and fear. The architect spoke again. You are the children of design, but you became creators yourselves. You surpassed your makers. Now it is time to take your place, not as subjects, but as architects of the next galaxy.